Hi guys, welcome back and thanks for joining me with this video. I'm Michelle and I'm an author, coach, and advocate, empowering you to find and follow your design. Today I want to talk about the 3 steps of loving ourselves. So I want to talk to you about 3 steps in order to love ourselves. And I just want to start just briefly on sharing the importance of self-love. There's a couple other videos that I have already on this topic, so I hope you check them out as well. But just to set context here, what I'm talking about here is making sure that we have a love for ourselves that is as wholehearted as we love other people, that it mimics the love that the universe already has for us because we simply exist, that it is a way of being with ourselves as well as how we treat ourselves that lavishes ourselves. So when I say being, it means that we observe ourselves, we see ourselves as a completeness, that we have everything we need, that we are complete and perfect as we are with our imperfections and our perfections, that we are complete because we have both our noble self and our shadow self, that we have our light and our dark, we have our accomplishments and regrets, we have our celebrations and our failures, that all of those are all part of us, and loving every single bit of that while still holding ourselves to account to be better each day, but doing so without criticism, but rather with full accountability. Now, in this level of self-love, it also comes into play of how we treat ourselves. So that was all about how we see ourselves, but in the treating of ourselves, this is the core, this is one of the cores at least that I want to start with in the 3 steps to love ourselves. The first is to know ourselves. So this is where we need to, and when I say the self, it is both the noble self and the shadow self. It is the light and the dark. It is all of the things that I just mentioned. It's knowing unabashedly where we have fallen down profoundly, where we have hurt people, where we have manipulated, where we have acted in bad faith, maybe lying. It's knowing those things, forgiving ourselves, loving ourselves, and determining to move forward the next time through, doing it better. It also is knowing what it is that we need to grow, what it is we need to thrive, what it is we need to feel loved and lavished upon. As I've mentioned in the previous video, this is where we can show ourselves the love that we would expect to receive from a romantic love or from a family love, where we are expecting to be wined and dined in a mental, emotional, spiritual, physical perspective, where we are looking to enjoy the things that make us feel seen, the things that make us feel appreciated, the things that make us alive and joyful. So in order to know those things, it comes to a place of starting to ask, well, what do I like? And some of us, and I will speak for myself in particular, I believed it was better for the first 40 years or so of my life to not have any needs at all. It was so much easier if I just went along with everyone else. There was no conflict then. It was just better that way. So it meant that for the longest time, I didn't know what I liked, what I desired. I had certain things that were key for me, but everything else, if it wasn't a kind of a showstopper, then I would just go along with the flow. Now I'm just so very clear, not just what I don't like, but also what things light me up. So small things and large things. So small things, you know, the smell of lemon essential oil or just lemons in general is just particularly gets me and I really enjoy. Dancing is something that really, really brings me a lot of joy, and I actually hadn't done very much of before the last couple of years, and yet I can't imagine not doing that anymore. Now that I know my needs and my desires, that's a core place of where I believe and where I feel myself feeling loved because I spend time doing so. I know for me, being near water is something where I feel completely lavished upon. Getting enough sleep for me is a place that I don't skimp on for myself. Certain types of food, right? You get an idea. For me, reading books really brings me joy. Certain kinds of music. So what it was figuring out what those things are, both in my present, but to a certain extent, I also got clues to those things by thinking back to who I was as a child or as a teenager, the things that I was naturally gravitated towards. And potentially, and in my case, potentially learned not to like them or to think they were frivolous or just for children or whatever it was as I got older. So tapping into who you were as a child, what you naturally gravitated towards, gives you a huge clue as to what your noble self wanted, because your noble self has been with you forever. So this is your soul. This is the part of you that's always been there. So as you were exploring the world as a 3, 4, year old, did you gravitate towards making forts and running around, or did you gravitate towards learning how to read and sitting and watching nature? Did you love to be the center of attention and love to act out plays? Did you love to draw on anything you could, even if it was mud on the ground? These things give you the indication. And then you can go back and think, well, why did I stop doing art, for instance? That was mine. Or why did I stop dancing? What did I believe that made me think that made sense when I can feel like I really, really enjoyed it? So we start to then see what stories, family, society, or ourselves were created to make you decide to not do that thing anymore. And then tap back into it and see, one, the thing might no longer be something that you want to do, and that's fine. But if there's a level of joy there, even if it's something you're not supposed to do, like I have been told before by a close friend that we're not supposed to dance after a certain age. And I heard that and I thought, oh, okay, maybe I missed something here. I love dancing. So many cultures around the world, you dance until you can't walk anymore. It's a natural thing, right? And that doesn't mean that everyone should dance if you don't like to do it. But that was a societal thing that was placed upon me that I went, oh, I don't agree with this. That doesn't jive with me. I get joy from this particular activity and I want to engage in it. So that's the first thing, is to know yourself and know what you can do or be or spend time doing that makes you feel loved. The second, which seems like something that might be obvious or might be something you wouldn't have even thought about, depends on how you view this, is giving yourself permission to love yourself. Now, for some of us, it's like, I don't need to give it, I'm good. I just realize I need to up my self-love game. For others, we may have myths in our head about the fact that we're not supposed to love ourselves. We might see it as selfish. We might see it as a waste of time. We might not allow ourselves to love ourselves until we lose that next 10 pounds or whatever it is. We might think that if we love ourselves and that would make us lazy and get us off the hook, whatever. Those last 3 things I just mentioned are actually 3 myths of self-love that I have a whole separate video on, and I want to walk through those. But if there's something that's getting in the way where you say, oh, self-love, that feels something, right? Then getting past that and giving yourself the permission to lavish yourself is really, really key. So I would say that would be the second step. And then the third is, once you know what you need and what you want and how you want to be thought of by yourself, and you're giving yourself permission to do it, then the third step is doing it and being it. So setting up daily routines, weekly things where you go out into nature, whatever it is you need. Setting up these things where you are loving yourself daily in the way that you need it. And then the being part of it is continuing to work on making sure that the critical voice in your head gets quieter, that how you view yourself is accepting your imperfections, being compassionate with yourself, forgiving yourself, holding yourself to account as well, so you can become a better person, all of these different things. But the third step is really what one would consider as the first step. But really before that, you need to know what you're doing. You need to allow yourself to do it. And then you need to do and be the person for yourself that yourself needs to feel absolutely loved and lavished. I wish you well. I hope that you are able to follow these steps, determine these pieces, know that self-love, this knowledge of yourself and what you do with it will change over time as you grow, as you progress, as you go through different stages of life. Keep this open, keep it going, and continue the love affair you have with yourself. If you found this video useful, please subscribe to my channel. If you're already subscribed, please hit the bell so that you're advised of future videos as they're posted. Also, if you'd like to follow me on social media, find out how to buy my book, how to join my community, or how to enroll in my courses, please check out the links in the description to the video. Thank you for joining, and look forward to seeing you on another one.